General Secretary of the party. Now, the journey or the road to that Congress, of course, was not without bickering and internal politics as expected. Well, this morning we have with us Munir Mohammed Sani, Executive Secretary of Safe Democracy, and we are looking at what the new leadership means for the NPP and politics generally in this country. You're welcome. Were you surprised at the outcome of this Congress?
I wasn't surprised anyway because of how it started, when much was talked about Paul Afoko and the thinking people give to Paul Afoko and how it got to the police investigating him, which gave meaning to the fact that he could be a very good candidate and probably he's a winning candidate. As such, they did what they would do to massline him and then bring him down from where he's supposed to be. So I wasn't surprised at all. Besides, I wasn't also surprised because he's an ordinary, and the perception that NPP is an account party, they would like to do away with it, and much of them, and many of them would like to.
But the former chairman was in the north now. Yeah,
the perception is this: not most of the time, Northerners do not chair NPP political party. Since the inception of the party,
it's the first time we have.
It's the first time we have had a Northerner to become the chairman of that.
But doesn't matter where the person is coming from.
That's very true. That is how it's supposed to be. By virtue of the 1992 Constitution, we shouldn't do anything that should attach tribalism or ethnicity to our politics. When we do that, we are not helping Ghana as a nation. So it doesn't matter where the person should come from, as a matter of fact. But that is how the perception has grown to become.
Okay. Now, with Jake being able to garner just about 66 votes out of the many over 4,000, was that a surprise to you? Would you have thought that he would have received more votes than that?
I thought Jake would have received more votes than 66 because his past record showed he did very well for NPP, beginning from the inception of the party, when he was an organizer, when he was a youth, when he was a member of the youth organizers who trumpeted the chances of NPP to winning even election 2000, and he did very well for NPP. So I was just surprised how you should be getting 66, and one wouldn't think of the thievery accusations that were attached to him before they getting into what they call it the elections. That probably might have made him to lose that much. Other than that, I think they could have performed very well.
Okay, now what exactly does this new executive body say about the NPP?
It tells us that NPP is getting to be a stronger party, is getting to do away with the perception, quote unquote, the Akan party. And with Kwabena Japan as the General Secretary and John Boedu as the national organizer, I think they are going to support Paul Afoko into gaining more votes for the party. So, being a press secretary, former press secretary of the president, Kwabena Japan knows too much, and he knows how to meander his rules into the regions and suburbs areas, so that he can canvass votes for NPP as a political party. So I'm seeing a way that these people will do well if given the necessary support.
Okay. Do you think they have what it takes to get the party back into power in 2016?
That is another question that people get to think of. If they will do away, if they can consolidate what they've done with the achievement they have achieved, if they can reconcile with the former executives, so that they move the party forward into getting election. It will depend upon how they will relate with the perception of Nanadu faction.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you that question because it looks like many think that Paul Afoko is from Alan's camp, and so is Kwabena Japan. Does it tell us anything about who the presidential candidate will be, or it doesn't necessarily matter?
As a matter of fact, because they want power. That is what Paul Afoku said. They want power, and if they want power, it will not matter how they will arrange, even if it means they all will agree for Nana Addo to run again. That probably will convince people that these people have reconciled themselves and they can make a way into getting power for themselves.
Okay, now let's put the two general secretaries of the two parties together, Kwabena Japan and Johnson General Mosquito, as they call him. Okay, let's look at these two gentlemen. Indeed, any election really bothers around the general secretaries of the parties because they go around a lot, they talk a lot. And we saw how in the 2012 elections, Sir John and Efeidi Nketia came, clashed at some point over words, and some of the words were rather, not for broadcast, but the media allowed it to go. The kind of temperature they brought into discussions. What kind of atmosphere are you seeing with Kwabena Japan in the picture now?
Yeah, if the NDC will retain General Mosquito, and as now the NPP has had Kwabena Japan, is going to be a very serious challenge to both political parties, because I understand Kwabena Japan, as I told you earlier, is just somebody who can work hard, and he will not mince his words. He knows how he places his words, and he knows how to respond to what they call General Mosquito will say. So it gives meaning to say the two of them will be very challenging, and I think they all will do well for themselves.
Okay, and now let's talk about the EC's conduct at the party. I remember following tweets on social media and other platforms as well, and many were saying also the NPP went back to the EC after doubting the EC in the 2012 elections. Didn't matter really.
Yeah, but EC is a constitutional body, and every election that we conduct in this country, it has to take part. General, because it is there to serve the nation as a whole. It doesn't matter what it takes. If for any other reason they've gone to the EC to feel like they naturally have to go to the EC and then seek for his intervention in or any electoral process, and they will manage. That is how it is.
Okay, now before the NPP Congress, many thought that the NPP as an opposition had shirked its responsibility because they were not speaking to issues. They were rather concerned more about who to win what in the party. Now the election is over, we know who the executives are. What kind of opposition are you expecting from the New Patriotic Party? And even before you answer that, would you say that the NPP has lived up to that tag of being a strong opposition?
NPP is a strong opposition in Parliament today because it has won most of the debates that went on in Parliament. It tells the people of Ghana who monitor Parliament that NPP is a very strong opposition and it can do well to challenge the NDC. And it's only up to them to put their things right. That will make them match NDC good to good.
Okay, but after this, what kind of opposition are you expecting from the NPP with the new executives?
Well, I think they are doing well as it is today. Okay. With this team, they will do as much as they can to exhaust every means available to attain power, as Paul Afoku said. Mm-hmm. And I think they are going to do much to challenge NDC, seeing how much NDC won the election compared to the percentage margin with which the NDC had won. If they do well, they also can...
Should the NDC be worried?
Of course.
The new executives?
Yeah, the NDC should be much worried. When we talk of safe democracy, we think...
No, I mean your organization. What exactly do you do?
It's a constitutional reformation platform.
Okay.
We promulgate, assimilate, and consolidate culture and democracy. That is, we would like to assimilate culture and adopt it into our constitutional rule. We feel like the 1992 constitution views of these political parties, the way they are descending so low by bringing ethnicity into their camps in Ghana. And we would like democracy to prevail. As such, we are thinking of a bicameral legislature where everything will not be left alone to the primary chamber parliament. We think of creating a second chamber parliament where the second chamber will superintend activities of the primary chamber. By so doing, I think Ghana will move forward and democracy will not be as before.
Okay, thank you very much, Munir Sani. Munir Muhammad Sani is the Executive Secretary of Safe Democracy. We've been talking about the NPP Congress that just ended in Tamale over the weekend. New Day returns in a bit.